Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey everybody, this is Alex Bennett, host of the Ramble, heard here and seen here on GabNet, Tuesday through Fridays, live at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and I got some big news for you. Our program has moved its live video from Facebook Live to YouTube Live. After extensive tests in our GabNet laboratories of at least 10 minutes, our mind was made up and we've come to the conclusion that YouTube is superior not only in video quality, but audio as well. And then there's the ease of watching it. Here's what you do. Simply point your browser to youtube.com/Bolo Bennett /live. That's youtube.com/Bolo Bennett, BOLOBENNETT /live. And you're there. The player is waiting, and you do nothing, and when the show begins, so does the player. Couldn't be simpler. In fact, tag that page as a permanent tab on your browser, and you're ready to go. And if all of this is too vexing for you, well, just go to gabnet.net near showtime, and the player in the middle of the page will start to play when we're on. We're thrilled with the new quality our move has provided, and while you're there, would you do me a favor and please subscribe to our channel? No, I beg you to. Hey, listen to me, I'm groveling, okay? I know, it's pathetic. I'm sorry, I'm debasing myself, and I really shouldn't be. Please.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Oh, hey everybody, hold on, let me just do a little thing here. There we go. We had nothing but troubles tonight, and I have no idea what was causing it or why.
I got to give you a little advance warning.
Huh?
I have to give you a little advance warning.
What?
I thought that you weren't going on, so I got out of my clothes and turned back Handmaidens, which I only have 9 minutes left, and I took my Xanax.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did.
Wait a minute, now I have to show you.
Hi.
So you took, well, you know, you can trust that I'm going to maybe get it on.
Why? It's happened before where you didn't.
Huh? What do you mean it's happened before where I didn't?
Over time, it's a couple times you've had some issues.
Let me see here. Is this a problem here? I just want, oh, come on, I'm trying to fix something. This is just...
Anyway, it's 10:12, so I'm glad that chewed into my half an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Alrighty. Let me see here. Let me see what this one says.
You need to have a few of those disruptions every week.
That's going. I don't know.
And then resolve it like on the 28th minute.
Oh, I see. Hold on a second. Just keep talking.
We're holding. We're holding. I was literally in bed.
Really?
I took off my Friday night blouse that I should put in the wash. Put Handmaid's Tale on because I only have 8 minutes left, and was ready for bed.
Okay, I think I can delete this file.
Whatever.
There we go. All right. Okay, we're all right now.
Hi.
Oh boy, this has just been amazing to me. Hello, folks. I'm sorry if we're kind of a little forblungent here, but
Not we. Speak for yourself.
No, but what happened was I started the show.
Oh, you mean the crew?
Yeah. I started the show. We're looking a little dark tonight. Yeah, well.
You go like this with your shirt?
Anyway, I started the show, and I click a thing here that says start streaming, and none of it was streaming. None of it. was streaming. Let me go to a split screen here so we can see the two of us. And none of it was streaming. And it just I finally rebooted this machine, and I don't know what made it work all of a sudden, but it may have been something at YouTube, which is very rare.
But things happen.
But there was something where it just wasn't sending the signal out. So I rebooted the machine, and I did a few other things.
And I went to bed.
And then when I came back on, I found I started recording when I shouldn't have. I thought, when did I start recording when that was the time? Yeah, I did start recording at the right time, and I stopped the recording. Oh, well. Screw it.
Anyway, it's Friday. It's Friday.
I'm really out of it. I actually, I shouldn't
I don't want to talk about your ailments.
No, I'm not talking about my ailments.
We're gonna get around to it in about 3 minutes.
No, we're not talking about my ailments. I'm talking about this. And here's what bothers me is that I started the recording, and I was right for me to start it, but then I saw that it was recording, and it shouldn't have been recording. And anyway.
You got some mush.
I got it taken care of.
Good.
All right.
Okay.
So, folks, if we're a little late coming on,
not we. Speak for yourself.
When I talk about we, I mean the
The
program.
studio.
Yeah, boy, you better. Your pills are already hitting you.
No, it's not.
You're getting wacky.
No, when I fall asleep at the chair, then you know I'm
really?
asleep. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just
all
my
right.
normal. Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah. So anyway, I screwed up here. I didn't know what I was doing.
I'm sure glad I didn't do it.
I've been feeling weird.
Here we go. Did I tell you?
Woozy. And so what I do is I have to start the stream. Then I have to also start the recording. But when I looked at it, the recording was going, and I don't think I want it going yet. But I don't know. I stopped it and started the.
Well,
no, forget it.
It's fine
forget
now.
We took care of it.
Okay. You took care of it. Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
And I'm too tired to do a show now.
Okay, so you'll come off with me.
Come off with you?
Well, yeah.
What, we go to bed at the same time? God forbid. Even on nights when I don't do this show, we don't go to bed at the same time.
Well, in the early days we did. When you used to stay over at my apartment, we went to bed together.
Yeah. But I didn't have this to do, and I didn't have... My schedule was also, I was working at the radio show.
Those were in the days when you got up every 3 minutes to go to the bathroom.
No, but what happened is, when I was doing that, I was doing mornings at Sirius.
Oh, right.
And so my whole clock
and we kind of
really,
went to bed together. Remember,
Yeah.
we took showers at night, and then we went to bed.
Was that the days when I took showers?
Yeah. We're starting again. That's great.
I take a shower every day now.
I know. How nice
you
is
can't
that?
come back from the gym and not take a shower. You know, how terrible would that be? It'd be horrible. But anyway, it says, it looks like tech problems. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Somebody wrote that.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, so
it's 10:16, everyone. I'm just laying it out.
do you feel your job on this show is to give time signals?
Yes, I think I'm on the clock.
Okay.
I'm the Miss Evening clock.
Anyway, I'm so happy.
I'm so glad you're happy.
Yeah, I'm happy because my favorite TV show, which was canceled by
that's
Fox,
right. It's being picked up.
has been picked up. You see, in the wonderful world of today's TV landscape, a show gets canceled, but that doesn't mean it's down and out. If it happens to have even what we would call a cult audience, Netflix or Amazon or Hulu will pick it up. And
it gives it another life.
Yeah. And there was a show I loved. And I think it was one of those kind of shows that was just fun.
Yeah. Over the years, we've had a lot of shows that weren't picked up.
Yeah. Well, in the old days when a show was canceled, it was canceled. So anyway, but this is happening a lot this year. So I love the show Lucifer. And if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. You're going to get to again because Netflix picked it up.
That's right.
Now, it was canceled by Fox, and Netflix has decided they'll pick it up, which is great. It won't be like a 22-episode arc,
it'll be
however.
8 or 9.
They'll do 13, I think. You know,
we'll see.
They'll do 13. No, because most of the shows they do that you binge are 12 or 13 episodes. Okay, I think The Crown is like 10. But anyway, so you know, now that we're on, you know what I noticed? I'm going to stop doing this.
What? Doing what?
We had all kinds of problems, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden when we were on, there were like 25 people there, right?
Well, now that you don't have a problem.
And then once I didn't have a problem anymore, it went down to 18. Oh, that's what's on. I see. Anyway, so they picked up Lucifer, and they picked up a show which Damien likes, which I tried but I never could get into, called The Expanse. That was picked up by Amazon after it was canceled by Sci-Fi.
Wow. And
a show which I never watched called Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which supposedly was very popular, was picked up by NBC. So it's not, in this day and age, we aren't living in the day and age where if you die, you die.
It's like Second Life.
You know, if you've got a following and people want to... Oh, and by the way, the other one that Netflix is bringing back, they canceled over at ABC, another favorite show of mine, Designated Survivor, with Kiefer Sutherland. And it looks like Netflix is going to pick that up.
Good.
You know, so
yeah, hey,
shows don't necessarily die anymore. It's
I have found now there's so much selection. It's almost like information overload. I love it. You go from one thing to another.
Well, no, you watch some stuff come on, let's talk about what country was that from?
My Turkish soap.
The Turkish soap opera.
Soap.
I 65 fucking hours she watched.
Well, we didn't know that in the beginning. It was a couple of them. And I was just looking for something to just kind of...
It ruined my life.
I got into it. It was like a novella, but in Turkish.
Yeah, but it drove me absolutely fucking nuts that you were watching this thing, and it wasn't even like it was a big TV show. It was a soap opera as well.
Yeah, but you know, in its own way, I really kind of got into it, you know, when they looked at each other and you heard the orchestra in the background.
Yeah.
And the lead was so good looking.
But, you know, there's some good TVs out there.
That was on Netflix. That was a Netflix.
Well, it was a Netflix original. Did they call it a Netflix original?
Everything's a Netflix original.
Yeah.
As soon as they take it.
Well, they will with Lucifer. It'll say Netflix original because it will be. You know, in fact, Star Trek Discovery, which is the new Star Trek series, it's on CBS All Access. In Europe, it's on Netflix, and it's a Netflix original. I have some copies of it where it says Netflix original. You know, and a lot of the CW shows, things like Riverdale and Flash and Arrow.
What's CW?
CW is it's Warner Brothers and CBS.
Oh.
They have their own network, and these shows are, when they're over in Europe, they're Netflix
originals.
Netflix originals. And I'm going, wait a minute, no, it's a CW original. It's not a Netflix original.
It's original.
But they pick up the ability to say Netflix original, I guess, when they buy the thing in another country.
Hey, was today an incredibly stacked information day? Look at all the things that happened.
Well,
Manafort got put in jail. Well, we knew that.
Yeah.
Of course, Trump denies the report and says it was a Democratic. He's also blaming the immigration. He's blaming the immigration also on Obama.
No, he's blaming the kids.
Yeah,
being separated from their parents
due to Obama.
On something that the Democrats did. And today I was watching MSNBC, and they were just working like hell to see where he got that kind of information.
But he lies all the time.
Because none of the things the Democrats did ripped children away from their...
But nobody sees that. They just see him.
Yeah. The best thing of the day, I mean, if you want the quote of the day from Trump, or Drumpf, I still have it. You still have it on your computer. You got this thing, and they have the original family name was Drumpf. And
German.
And what's his name? Who does
John Oliver.
John Oliver did this app you can put on your computer that anytime Trump's name comes up, it says Drumpf.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
New York Times, just Google, anything.
I still have it in here. It's just I haven't. I've turned it off.
Yeah, I love it. I love coming to it.
But I can turn it on anytime I want to.
So, okay, so where were you?
Oh. Well, now that's a real problem. Where was I? Let me see here.
Oh, the news of the day: Donald Trump.
Yeah, with the you know, it's interesting that he loves Kim Jong Un, but he hates Trudeau up in Canada. You know, and
What did he say today
he was
about-
saying to Fox and Friends,
How he admired
who were interviewing him on the front lawn of the White House. He said, "Well, you know, Kim Jong Un is a tough guy, and he's got people who just stand up and do everything he says. I wish I had that." Meaning,
Yeah,
yeah. And then later on, he said, "Oh, I was only
it
kidding."
was only a joke.
Because somebody probably went, you know, you shouldn't have said that. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. What, the guy's in
And then Jeff Sessions comes out and talks about the Lord saying it's okay to separate your kids from,
Yeah.
and Sarah, whatever her name is, Cuntface, did the same thing. She praised the Lord and said that's why.
Yeah, but well, her father is Huckabee is a minister.
Yeah.
But I was trying to. I didn't have time to read it. But why did they say that it was in the Bible? What in the Bible?
He was
said?
quoting something that was in the Bible. And it's funny because somebody pasted on Facebook her and the quote, and then they had right below them like ISIS all in black with the guns saying, and their religion also, their quote from religion.
Yeah. So, but I don't know what in the Bible would separate children from their parents, you know.
And then she justified it.
You know, maybe it's because God said to Abraham, "Kill your son," and as he was about to do it, God said, "Don't." You know, I just want to make sure you like the Lord. Well, I mean, is that where he's getting it from?
How
I don't
did
know.
the United States come like this? I don't like it anymore.
No, we're not.
It's not the country
we're not
that
the
I
good,
love.
We're not the good guys anymore.
Yeah.
If you saw this going on in other countries, where children were being ripped away from their parents and put in essentially detention,
Right.
okay,
1 hour of sun.
you know, you would say that is the most horrible offense
Yeah.
towards human dignity and towards decency that you've ever seen. And you would have international groups inspecting it and decrying it. You know, it's terrible. Somebody, what's his name? Reverend Al Sharpton was on MSNBC. And he says, well, we're going down there to all those places, and we're going to try and see those kids because we're a bunch of preachers, and we want to go down and have the clergy, blah, 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 blah. And John Heilman was on the panel, and he said, I got a better idea, Rev. And he said, what? He said, send lawyers.
That's right. That's what they were saying all morning.
Send lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that lawyers should be down there right now protecting these kids' rights.
That's right.
So we'll see what happens.
He's right.
You know, it's terrible.
10:26.
Yes, I know it's 10:20.
Can I roll over?
No, not yet. So anyway, you know, I mean, if any other country did this, we would be decrying it as a disrespect of human rights. I mean, imagine a mother comes up here because number one, she's afraid she's going to get raped by gangs down in
Or her husband.
down in Mexico. So she
Not Mexico, Central America.
or Central America. They're all coming from all over the place.
No, but Mexicans, they say, are very different. They're not that desperate. They're not, you know,
Yeah, well,
except for
okay.
the drug
So
people.
Colombia,
Yeah.
and places like that, and they come up here seeking refuge, and now when they finally get to refuge, they're thrown in jail, and their kids are taken away from them.
And then,
Now, in
how
the-
many thousands
in the
did
past,
they say?
In the past, when we've had this problem, because you don't just let people come over the border, right? They would arrest the
Family.
Well, they wouldn't arrest the family. They would charge them,
But
and
let
then
the
they would
kids
put them
stay
in
with-
detention, but keep
with
the kids with them. So this is a new thing, and this is under Jeff Sessions at the behest of the man you call the president. or
Yeah,
El-
and
El-
he's quoting the Bible today, saying how it justifies to do that.
Yeah. And might I say that we should start referring to Trump as El Presidente.
He's going to win the 18
Because
election.
we're living in a banana republic.
Yes, we are.
If there was ever a banana republic, this
We're
is.
the fucking Republicans. No one's coming up and opening their mouths. Just a few people that aren't rerunning. Of course, they have nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know.
But where the fuck is Paul Ryan? I mean, he's quitting at the end of the year.
Yeah, Paul Ryan decried this. The Republicans, a lot of the Republicans are decrying what's happening.
Paul Ryan didn't do shit. He didn't do anything.
He came out, he made a statement, I saw him.
Not really.
No, he said, I think this is horrible.
Yeah, but nothing.
But no, what Trump said, he thought it was horrible, but it was all the Democrats' fault.
Of course.
And we're trying to figure out why.
Yeah,
Why is it the
it's
Democrats'
all the Democrats' fault.
What did the Democrats do? Well, they didn't.
I love the way he turned the Comey report around, so it was the Democrats that were like fucking up the election.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. Today, that was the other thing he said today. He said, "Well, that vindicates me that there was no collusion." This had nothing to do with the Russian investigation. Nothing. You know, this was the FBI and what they were doing. They were trying to protect the election.
He lost the election to Hillary. It was the final.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When you say, "Let's go get Comey," I don't think he's got any friends in the liberals.
No. But what I'm
because
saying,
we hated him when he did that.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody hates him. All right.
But he has a book out. Okay, it's 10:29. I'm rolling over.
You're rolling over. This is.
You'll roll over.
She's going to roll over like
Watch it flee.
like what's his name? Cohn is going to roll over.
Oh, he is going to roll over.
He's going to roll over.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I
You
can't.
can't make this up.
You can't. Really can't.
You can't.
You can't make this up.
My microphone is not up.
Because your microphone is over there.
Oh.
Boy, do I have to teach her everything.
You hear the way he talks to me?
Huh? What do you mean? Anyway, so we're all
call in
here. What?
Call in.
Yeah, call in. Yes. It'd be nice of you to call in. Oh, hey, it's David Hajek's birthday today.
Oh.
Yeah, I just saw it. It came up. It's not that I'm a caring, wonderful
No,
human
but it does
being.
come up in notifications.
It comes
I
up
like
on your
that.
notifications,
Yeah.
so
It's
you know.
neat.
Yeah. So anyway, we got off to a little late start tonight, but
not late for me.
Huh?
But not late for me. It's in my ballpark.
It's in your ballpark. Okay.
So the first person that calls, please
Yeah. Please what?
call in.
No. The first person that calls, please. You said.
Call in.
Well, because they would be they would be calling in because they were the first caller.
Good. And the second caller.
Yeah. We don't know who it will be.
But it better
you
be
know,
soon.
Could be Phil. Could be any one of a number of people. God, my nose is itching.
Brian, where are you?
Oh, Brian will call. Don't worry. Brian's out there.
Is it a Phil-free night?
No. It's a free night.
Free full night.
Boy, I'm so out of it. Did I tell you that I think I'm dying? I've got some horrible.
You know, we're all going to die sometime.
Yeah, what?
We're all going to die someday.
Someday.
Yeah.
Some way. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm waiting for people to call. See, this is
can I go to sleep?
Yeah, you can go if you want to.
Mwah. Call in.
She fell asleep.
I feel guilty.
She fell asleep at her desk tonight.
I did.
Because she didn't sleep well last night.
I woke up at 2.
Well, I'm taking a pill tonight because I think part of my tiredness is that I'm not sleeping. I'm not resting solidly, you know. Well, is anybody going to call, or can I go home too? Or I am home. I can call it quits here. We don't start hearing from people soon.
What would you give? You give like 20 minutes to a professor. How much would you give to a broadcaster?
What?
Like if you're waiting 20 minutes for a professor and he doesn't show up.
Oh, I see. And he doesn't show up, you get to leave?
Yeah, what's the thing with broadcasting?
I have no idea. I mean, with citizen panels, it's never been established.
Well, why don't we establish it? Do you want to say by 25 of?
Well, I noticed that Ray Renati is calling already.
There you go.
So we have somebody calling right at the top of the show here.
Thank you.
Ray. Look at Ray. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
He's got a wide.
Ray is outside. What are you doing? Walking the dog again? Are you? Can you hear us, Ray?
Who?
Ray, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to say good night, everyone. Mwah.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Tom.
Good
night,
night.
Ray.
Good night.
No.
Enjoy
Good
the
night.
Xanax.
Yeah. Good. Well, she's already on Xanax right now. She takes it every night to go to sleep.
Every night.
I haven't taken it for about 4 days, and I don't think I've been resting well because I'm tired all day. So.
Well, you know, I just called the doctor who helps people get off of benzos because I've been on 1 milligram of clonazepam for 15 years every night.
Really?
Yeah, because my damn doctor told me to do it. Now I'm completely addicted.
Yeah.
And one weekend I didn't have it. I started having hallucinations and stuff. So now I got to figure out how to get off of it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've just been lightheaded the last couple of days, and
Yeah.
But I it's not like my heart, because I don't have any chest pains or anything like that. It's just I just feel tired, fatigued. So,
Yeah.
who knows?
Do you ever been checked for sleep apnea?
Well, I don't have sleep apnea, and I have the best way to check. I don't have to go to a sleep clinic to check for sleep apnea, because sleeping next to me is sleep apnea. If I start snoring or whatever, which is a sure sign of sleep apnea, she'll hit me. And she used to hit me a lot. But then I went on this diet and I lost 55 pounds. I don't snore anymore. And I asked her, when I was snoring, did you hear me stop breathing for a while? Because people who are with you in bed, who, if you have sleep apnea, get kind of panicked because you stop breathing, right?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Yeah. And she said, no. She said, I only wish you would. She said, but I didn't stop breathing. That wasn't a problem for me. So I don't think I have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
But
I
just don't feel rested.
Okay, so you go to bed late, right?
Yeah.
So when you used to have to get up earlier, did you have more energy?
Well, I just lost Tom.
Well, you were younger. Right?
When I was younger, and so I had more energy just naturally.
Yeah, but I noticed lately I've been because I'm a late Nick too, and then I feel like I jet lag most of the time until 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So I've been forcing myself to go to bed earlier, and actually feel better, even though it's not my nature.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you guys are lucky. I mean, I finished the show here at midnight, and that's for you guys, it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it is 9 o'clock.
So
it's early still.
It's still time to go to bed, things like that, and whatever. With me, I stay up till about 2 in the morning. At least.
That's what I was doing too, and it was because I was doing so many plays one after the other, and I wouldn't get home till midnight, and I can't sleep.
Oh yeah,
because I'm just wired.
Well, after you do something like that, you're so invigorated from having done it.
Yeah.
Hey, we've been joined by Vernon Nunn, and we've been joined by yes, we've been joined by Phil
SOS.
Meyer. And of course Tom Yamaguchi is here tonight. This is a Tom Yamaguchi full night.
I keep accidentally hanging up by.
Yeah.
Trying to
Phil,
Excuse me,
are
folks.
you a
I'm not
child
picking my
enslavement
nose.
advocate?
I have an itchy nose tonight, and I hate it when I get itchy nose.
Ray had asked the question.
What, Ray?
Oh, I asked if he was a child enslavement advocate.
Oh,
Here we go. Huh?
And I was looking for my mommy, but I couldn't find her. But they did give me this hat, "Make America Great Again."
Oh, it's funny, yeah.
Yeah, I got the hat. No mommy.
Cool.
But I guess it's time to start.
Sorry.
You had to bring it up, didn't you?
I'm sorry.
No, I was talking with girlfriend here. I mean, this is not America. This is what I know as America, is the compassionate country, that rips children away from mothers. Come on. And don't say they don't, because there are some kids, about 1,500 of them, up in what used to be a Walmart, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That don't have their mothers. because they were taken away from them. Okay.
Well, their mothers didn't. Were told they were told it's zero tolerance.
Oh, God.
No, they weren't. They arrived and they were
Hey,
arrested.
you know, when you get arrested, you get sent to jail. They don't let you take your kid.
They used to. When they used to,
they used to
wait a
just
minute,
send
wait a
them
minute, wait a minute.
Al Capone
Under Obama, when some
Yeah.
people were picked up at the border and they had children, the children and the parents were taken to whatever detention facility they were going to. They didn't put them in a jail, but they put them in a detention facility, and they got to keep their kids. Nobody ever thought about taking their kids away till, old Scrooge Trump becomes president of the United States, and Jeff Sessions thinks the Bible gives him the right to do it.
Yeah, I heard him. I heard that speech. He said, I heard the speech. He was in front of people and he said that it's biblically fine. I heard it.
Well, you know what I find wrong about that? Don't we separate church from state in this country?
Well,
and isn't that
we don't. We're supposed to.
Isn't that a little wrong to quote the Bible as your excuse for why you did
got
something?
It wrong, Alex. The state is supposed to stay out of the church. That's the separation.
Oh, I see. But I get to have Jeff Sessions. I get to have Jeff Sessions make legal decisions by reading the Bible. Oh, good.
No, he made legal decisions.
Huh?
I didn't know he made
Yes,
legal
he does.
decisions.
He
I
gives
thought was a
orders.
prosecutor.
He gives orders. Arrest those Mexicans along the border. Take those kids and put them in a detention center away from their mothers. Yeah, he's the guy who gave the orders.
Hey, you arrest somebody, they're under arrest. That's what happens.
Come on, where's the father in you?
Hey, when you rob a jewelry store and they put you in jail,
That's a whole different matter. We can get to robbery on some other day, but this is about.
you break the law. You break the law. That's the.
How about Trump's kids? How about Trump's kids and his foundation?
Yeah.
They should all go to jail because of what they've done with that foundation, paying off campaign donations and collecting money from people that owe the Trump organization money. They should all go to jail.
How about due process? If they should go to jail, they should get due process.
And they should be arrested at least and arraigned for doing something illegal.
Arraigned is not convicted.
No, but they should be arraigned, and if they can't post bail, they should spend time in jail, just like Paul Manafort.
Paul Manafort is being pressured to flip, and they got nothing on him, and certainly nothing.
Money laundering.
No, Phil, wait a minute, hold on a second, Phil. You're 100% wrong on that one. They have money laundering, a whole bunch of other things. Now, whether he can, wait a minute, let me finish. Whether he has anything to contribute to the Mueller investigation or to that, there's a question as to whether he has enough information to flip in order to get out of all the other stuff.
Right.
Okay. But they don't think that Manafort necessarily has the information, and that he could flip. And if he can't flip, well, he's facing a lot of jail time. Yes, yes, Vernon.
I got a picture of somebody. Wait a minute.
Vernon.
I'm saying he's going bye-bye.
He's going bye-bye. Yeah. How do you say that in Morse code? Yeah. Oh man.
I can't get my G. Gordon Liddy picture down without a ladder. So.
G. Gordon Liddy?
Yeah.
You know why he got into radio?
Yeah, you.
I didn't take the job.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't take the job. I had a deal with to go to work in Washington, D.C. and leave San Francisco to work for Infinity, which was then...
yeah, let me see what the call letters are on that.
It was I can tell you. Oh, well. It was WJFK. Well, it was WJFK.
He also put out a series of calendars and invited people to send in pictures of their girlfriends in bikinis holding weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, WJFK.
Yeah, WJFK. Why didn't you ask me?
You were telling me as I was going to look.
Yeah, WJFK. Yeah. And I turned down the job, and they gave it to G. Gordon Liddy, and I said, I don't understand this. How do you, in some kind of reverie, think you go from me to G. Gordon Liddy. Hey, we can't get Alex. Let's get G. Gordon Liddy. That'll show him.
Maybe they wanted you to flip.
Something like that, yeah. Well, Mel Karmazin ran the radio stations, owned the radio stations, WJFK, and they wanted me to go to work, and they wanted me to leave San Francisco. They also wanted me to leave San Francisco because I'd clear the way for Howard Stern, who was just being broadcast down in San Jose. And I was a little suspicious of it, and they said, well, we can't sign you till you get here and you've left the other station. And I didn't know. I'd heard a lot of horrible things about Mel Karmazin, and I figured, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to then quit Live 105. I'm going to call them up and say, okay, I've quit Live 105, and they go, well, too bad, we've decided not to hire you. I didn't realize.
That would have been pretty shitty.
I know that would have been pretty shitty, but I was going to be in a Never Never Land there, and it could happen because it was a cutthroat business, and I heard terrible things about Mel Karmazin. Well, it was the biggest mistake I ever made because I would have been syndicated and so on, and Mel Karmazin is a man of his word. And I found that out when I went to work for him at Sirius XM. He's a man of his word, and he's never, and that part of his being a man of his word is he didn't want to be accused of stealing somebody away from another employer.
Yeah.
So that was what happened. So.
Hello. I just wanted to come back. I'm walking and I lost signal.
Yeah.
I wasn't like leaving in a huff.
Oh, I know. You were leaving in a minute. You were leaving in a minute. You were leaving in a minute and a huff. Thank you very much, Marx Brothers.
If you have a blockage like me, you huff and puff the whole way.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, that must be horrible, man.
Yeah.
I hope they get that fixed.
Tuesday they're going to check me out.
Yeah, Tuesday I'm getting my checkup.
Yeah?
Yeah, which I'm, of course, worried about because, you know, I mean, he's going to check my stenosis. I know my aortic stenosis, and my aorta is closing up probably. That's why I'm tired all the time.
I'm looking forward, maybe an angioplasty or a stent. I'll feel like a 20-year-old again.
Well, if it's my aorta is going bad or something like that, they put in, a pig valve or something? I don't know.
Yeah, like Jeff has.
I think, yeah, something like that. Yeah. But anyway, there's the cute dog again, the irrepressibly cute dog. Yes, Tom.
Ray, where are you? Where are you walking?
I'm out on the Palo Alto open space area, nature preserve. Yeah.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a nature.
Yeah.
It's a nature preserve, so your dog could go kill a bird.
You know, she's scared of them.
Where is that? Like off University Avenue or something?
It's right next to Highway 101.
Really?
You know, it's Embarcadero University, San Antonio. Yeah. I live just 5 minutes walk from here. I come here almost every day.
Yeah.
Is the Town and Country Shopping Center still down there at Embarcadero?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Embarcadero, Arnell, you know.
Well, of course, this is of great interest to our national audience, who wonders what side of Highway 101 this is on.
All 28 of them. But other people will be listening to this later, so we have to keep them in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was 28. Now there's 18.
Yeah.
All right, we need to get back to, I don't know.
We need to get back to, what do you think, Tom? What do you think? I don't have to ask Tom what he thinks about the whole thing with the kids being taken away from the parents.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
More than ridiculous, it's inhuman.
I just don't know where to start. This country just headed to fascism. It's just, you mentioned the statement he made earlier, praising, saying that his people, like Kim Jong-un's people, they stand up straight when he talks, and he wants the same thing.
If I could only get that from my people.
Yeah.
I want the same for my people. That's what he wants. And he's pulling out of the United Nations Human Rights body, and it's just like, what happened to democracy? I mean, what happened to
what happened to goodness? And what happened
and Congress? I mean, we just have, this guy's just doing anything he wants, and as we said earlier, he lost the popular vote, and he's just oblivious to that. It's just ridiculous.
Well, you know, even if you are, I mean, even if you are of the opposite nature of your other party, once you become president, you try to accommodate everybody if you can, you know?
Sure.
And even at his worst, Bush never tried to tear this democracy apart. They never tried to take our...
well, Bush was a perfect example. I mean...
Well, he respected the office.
Oh.
Huh?
He lost popular... Bush. George Bush, W. Bush.
Yeah.
Lost the not by much, but he did lose the popular vote to Al Gore. And even when he was running, he said, you know, one of his strengths was working across the aisle. His strength as governor of Texas is he was able to work with Republicans and Democrats, and he came in with the same attitude. You know, he brought Democrats to his cabinet. He worked, you know, no matter what you think of No Child Left Behind, at least, you know, he worked with Ted Kennedy to get on education reform.
Yeah.
When he passed his tax tax bill, he worked with Democrats.
You're right.
You know, it's just ridiculous.
Some of the people on Trump's cabinet, like Cohen and so forth, weren't they Democrats? In his cabinet?
No, I don't think so.
I thought that guy Cohen was Democrat. He just quit, but.
No, the one holdover from the Obama administration was that guy that was the veterans veterans secretary, and what happened was, of course, he was forced to resign because of doing something that Scott Pruitt has been doing multiple times over, you know, and. But
I think Trump's afraid to let anybody else go because he won't be able to get them put through the procedure for what?
Well, they're all leaving anyway. I mean, the White House has been in continual turmoil, and you've got more people leaving. Probably among his more competent members, this legislative advisor. Looks like he's the next out the door. There's rumors about Sarah Sanders and what's his name from the communications team, the CBS report that they're leaving. They're not confirming, but they're not denying it. It's just a total mess.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that in my lifetime. I've just never seen anything like what's going on now.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to see turnover, you should come to my store. Yeah.
Okay, well then maybe I'll avoid your store.
Phil, be honest with me now for a second. Are you entirely comfortable with some of the things that Trump says?
No.
You know, I mean, I now have a new way of referring to him as El Presidente.
Yeah, you know, I think that he speaks from the hip, if you know what I mean. And
no, he speaks from his ass. Okay, yeah. He missed his hip and he went straight to his ass.
Well, I understand. He's not sophisticated in the world of repercussion. But you know,
wait a minute. Hold on a second, Phil. You've been a businessman all your life, and you're not good at understanding repercussions.
But he didn't have to understand repercussion. He was always the buyer.
No, he didn't have to understand repercussions. That's why he's now in trouble for his charity. You know.
Yeah. But you know, who knows what'll happen with this charity thing? I heard.
Believe me, that was being looked into before he even was running for president, and they saw some very bad improprieties there, and they kind of laid off of him. Because he was running for president, and they didn't want to, you know, have it go bad. Okay,
yeah.
So they laid off of him. But it was known for quite a while that, for instance, that $10,000 painting of himself that he put in Mar-a-Lago came from the charity. The charity paid for it.
you know, his son appeared on one of the news shows and was explaining the thing off, but it was in the background. I didn't really hear what the guy had to say. But, you know, the painting of himself, you know, the charity might have paid for it. I don't know what, you know, I don't know how those things work. I do know that the Clinton Foundation has their own issues. You know, I think.
Yeah, no, wait a minute. That's whataboutism. Clinton.
All I know is the charities that I involve myself with.
No. Now you're taking us off the main course here. Let's get back. Let's go back to Trump and his charity. We can't talk about the Clinton charities.
I don't know what he did and what he didn't do, so I'm not qualified to talk.
You want to hear what he did?
Sure.
Okay. You go first, Tom.
Oh, he had a judgment against him.
Yeah.
For some regarding some display of the flags, it was, and he had to pay what $10,000.
Yeah.
He authorized. He even wrote a note to Cohen. Pay this with a check out of the foundation. That is illegal. You know, that's self-dealing. Well, the painting is.
Isn't the worst thing that can happen, Tom, that he has to pay the money back?
The worst thing
he could also go to jail.
He could go to jail. That's highly.
He could have said it was a mistake. You know, he asked his attorney, and his attorney didn't.
No, but supposedly they have.
But the IRS can produce a criminal referral if they can prove that it's done knowingly, that they did these illegal things knowingly.
And just because you had one of your toadies do it, okay, you can't sit around and say the dog ate my homework.
Yeah,
you know, that's not an excuse. Yes, Tom.
And I remembered another one from what I've read. The publicity stunt that he pulled up during the Iowa primaries. Where he was supposed to, where he decided he was going to boycott the debate and have on a fundraiser for veterans groups. And basically, his campaign was in communication with the charity of how to get for Iowa-based veterans charities money before the Iowa caucus, and they wanted to make sure that they had all the publicity. They had big checks handed out to these groups, and it had them all be done before the caucuses
and through the charity.
That money just languished until the news media picked it up and says, "What are you going to do with all the rest of this money?" So while the campaign value was important to them, suddenly the money wasn't important.
Well, what I understand, he had answered to the news people that you had to vet these organizations, that there were many organizations asking for this money,
but
and he just can't give it out.
He didn't. He had the campaign decide which charities to which veterans groups to hand out. They weren't all that vetted. That was real quick, just like that.
Oh, it took like 6 months, Tom.
No,
we're complaining that none of them.
Week.
Vernon,
they were complaining that none of the money got distributed. It was like 6 months.
Well,
okay.
There was initially,
how about this one, Phil?
Yeah.
There were vendors who owed the Trump organization money, who wrote checks to the Trump foundations instead of paying it directly to the Trump organization. So therefore, the Trump organization didn't count that as income and didn't pay taxes on it. And these people got to take a tax deduction because they gave the money to a 501c3. That's illegal.
I don't know how that works.
Phil, occasionally, just once, I'd like you to say, maybe Trump did something wrong there.
We'll see. Isn't he due?
He signed all the tax returns.
It's
for the foundation.
Due process.
Oh, it's due process. Is that what Trump is good at? Due process?
No, that's what he deserves. He's an American citizen.
Oh, I see. And other citizens don't deserve it?
Does Hillary deserve due process? Sorry, I had to say that.
Yes, she definitely deserves to be processed.
Oh, there we go. Double standard.
No, Hillary deserves due process. I think that there was a cover-up of what she did, and it's starting to come out. And now that it's coming out,
Nothing's coming out except on Fox and Friends.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Phil, because you're passing misinformation here. What exactly about Clinton's situation when she was running for office has come out?
Well, the IG report said that that they didn't fully investigate her email issues.
Wait a minute. That has nothing to do with whether she was right or whether she was wrong, but whether the FBI was doing due process, right? That has nothing to do. You just said that the Clintons were doing something terrible. Okay?
No, I said they deserve due process too. You know, just like anyone else that's accused, they're accused. That does mean that they're innocent until proven guilty. You know. So if Trump did something that was illegal, let them. Manafort's investigating him. There's a million people investigating him. You know, the accusations.
Is due process saying that you're going to deport football players who don't kneel?
Well, it's better than shooting them, but yes. No, of course not. Is he going to deport football players that don't kneel?
You know something? He somehow thinks that when he was made president, the big president fairy came and bestowed upon him all these rights and privileges, you know, and he just isn't. I mean, Patrick, you got to be sick of a lot of this, right?
I'm curious where you picked up that he was going to deport players.
He made a statement to that effect that they should be deported.
Well, I would say that too. But it doesn't mean I mean it. And I would say the same for him.
And that's fine, Patrick.
But the problem I see with a lot of people, and I see this on Facebook, and I keep pointing it out, and it's like it falls on deaf ears. So many people are reading so fucking much and taking everything he says so fucking seriously.
Okay, let's.
I got to object to that.
I object to that, Patrick, and here's why I object to it. He's president of the United States. Exactly. You got to be careful what you say. You know, you could start World War III by just, hey, I didn't mean it. It was a joke, as the bombs are blowing up all around us. You know.
But here's the thing, Alec. I didn't vote for him. All right, he won the election, and. You know, the media, they're the ones that kept propping him up and bringing him up and giving him all the fucking attention for a year and a half.
Yeah. And
everybody knew what he was. And everybody thought it was hilarious. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, you had him interviewed with all of the, you know, MSNBC and who the hell is that? Morning Joe, sucking his dick and all that. And everybody loved him. Because he's great for the cameras. Well, now you fucking have him. You knew what you were getting, you know, and you to take him that seriously is it's like I've told a number of people on Facebook. I don't like the guy, but you know what? I sleep fine at night, and I've got other things to do than to sit and keep worrying and reading and fucking investigating. Let this shit happen. If he's guilty, throw him to fucking jail. If he's not, then, you know, he's not. But I have no problem with the investigation. Investigate the shit out of him. I mean, some of the shit seems shady. Look after it. But in the meantime, I've got my life to live. I can't live my life worrying about every damn thing that he does or says. He's an idiot 90% of the time when he opens his mouth. But you know what? So are most of my neighbors. I hear neighbors talk shit too. So he's no different than anybody else.
But
he'd never been primed to be a politician. He's just a goof.
Tom has his hand up, and then Jeff. Tom?
He's not just a neighbor. He's the President of the United States. He sat for 50 minutes with Kim Jong-un, and who knows what he promised. We found out that he made he said that he told Un that Kim that he was not going to that they were going to end the exercises with South Korea. He didn't tell South Korea. This is ridiculous. I mean, he's getting into another trade war with China. Our agricultural sector of our economy is just going nuts over this because China orders a lot of our agricultural products. He's at war with Canada. Suddenly, Canada's
that's a war we can
That's
win.
ridiculous.
That's a war we can win because they'd shoot you and go, "I'm sorry." Yes, Jeff had his hand up, and then Phil.
Yeah, I want to say two things. First of all, Patrick, thank you for your great attitude. I mean, that is terrific. Your personal attitude about a lot of things, and that part is great. As far as Trump, he's an asshole. Okay, and he was an asshole before he became president.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when he became president, he goes, you thought the guy may have shut his mouth a little bit, say, I'm president now. I don't have to be an asshole every day. I can only do it once in a while when I want to do it. He can't stop.
You know what he's doing, and then we'll go to Phil. He's doing it to no effect. Because I hear so many people on the air now, and these are people bringing the pundits and so on. And the thing they say is, I'm just not amazed by anything he says anymore. It's losing all its potency. Okay? Yes, Phil.
The funny thing is, I can't remember my thought. If you go to two people, the thought goes away.
You lose it within two people.
The only thing I remember is I had the glove in my hand.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it probably would have pissed us off anyway, so don't worry about it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Patrick.
As far as the trading, I agree. I'm a free trade guy. The tariff, they bother me tremendously, whether it be with Canada, whether it be with China. But you know what? I can't fucking control it. So for me to lay in bed at night and just worry about it is stupid. I got other things to worry. I got to worry about if I got enough catheters in the closet, if I got enough lube, if I got to take a shit tonight. You know what? I can't do anything about it. And this is the only format we have. I got people yammering away on Facebook. Just fucking relax.
It could be, though, Patrick, that you're going to have to pay more for those catheters now.
Well, the thing is with the trade, for instance, things like milk, we're paying a 270% tariff
here we go.
in Canada. What he's saying is, look, you want free trade? I want free trade. But it's got to be free trade.
Yeah, it's got to be free trade.
It's okay for them to put tariffs on us, but it's not okay for us to put tariffs on them, is what you're saying. He says he wants to protect our intellectual property.
Okay, other people had their hands up before you.
No, I had my hand up.
No, you did a long time ago, and then we went to somebody else. You lost your place in line. First, I got to go to Tom because he had his hand up, and then Vernon has his hand up. Remember what you're going to say, Vernon. Yes, go ahead, Tom.
I couldn't.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is I don't know the milk situation, but we did have an NAFTA. Sure, we're negotiating it. Sure, that it's not perfect, but to say that the whole steel and aluminum thing is just ridiculous based on national security. I mean, come on, that's absolutely silly. And in the long run, that's going to hurt our workers. Mm-hmm. It's going to come back and bite us.
Don't they have tariffs on our steel and aluminum also that were equal to the tariffs that we put on?
No,
I don't think so.
No, not at all.
China has tariffs on our stuff.
Not 25%. It wasn't 25%.
But they restrict our goods in other ways too. They won't even let them in. Even Japan. They won't let any rice in from this country into Japan. And it's not a matter of a tariff. You just can't bring in rice because they're protecting their farmers.
They're a TPP.
Well, there is no TPP. But,
maybe there could be.
And that's been on our goods rice, for instance, for many, many years.
All I know is that he's caused such a uproar now that we're going to have lots of problems. Vernon had his hand up before you, Phil, so
Well,
I got to go.
the only thing I can say about Canada is that Trump repeatedly lies that there is a trade deficit with Canada. Anywhere you look, there's a trade surplus. We sell them more stuff than we buy from them. That's not a trade deficit. That's a trade surplus.
Well,
and the second point I wanted to make about the Korean military games is I read something today that Trump had a discussion with Putin about doing that, and that Putin had talked to Kim Jong-un and saying if he could get Trump to do this, then Putin's going to help Kim out.
Well, that's what my hand was up for before, was that when Trump was a candidate, he said that he didn't want to have troops in Japan and in Korea and so forth, and in the Middle East, unless he was being reimbursed by these wealthy countries for the protection and the costs that we're providing. So by him pulling out from these military games is something that he had talked about during his campaign, pulling our troops out of other countries like this. And I think it's a good thing. We don't necessarily need to be provocative to someone that we want to give up their nuclear weapons.
Nuclear.
Yeah, I'll spell it right for you.
Yes, Tom.
Well, it gets back to what I've said a number of times before. Whether a decision is the right one or the wrong one is secondary to the fact that there's no process. He makes decisions arbitrarily. As I said, he made this decision without even telling South Korea, which actually the President Moon actually salvaged those talks. I mean, the other night you were talking about awarding the Nobel Prize to some basketball player, but actually, if anybody deserves a Nobel Prize out of this situation, it's the President Moon of South Korea. And what did Trump do? He didn't even consult him regarding this decision to end these exercises. And it's just a very typical pattern of Trump. There is no process. So therefore, who can trust him? Our allies aren't going to trust him because they don't know what he's going to do next.
Yeah, they do know. It's called America First. He's putting America first before anyone else. That's what he was elected to do by the states that elected him.
So you think that was a great idea then?
Yeah. Phil, you live in a rather...
Tell the South Korean government what he was doing, what he had promised the North Koreans. You think that was a good idea?
You live with a rather old-fashioned notion, Phil. Yeah, let me point out that Phil is living with a pretty old-fashioned notion. We are living in a global economy now. We're not living alone and selling our stuff to the rest of the world and buying some stuff from the rest of the world. No, it's a global economy now, and you have to play ball with everybody. And we've got the world pissed off at us now.
But that's what he's pushing back against.
But what it's going to do, I saw a report tonight that was not biased or anything else about how much all this trade war is going to cost the average American. And they say the price on just about everything is going to go up 25%. And that's everything from a can of beer to, lead pencils or whatever.
Star Trek and Bud.
Huh? Yeah, well, yeah.
Buy domestic beer.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's not going to affect me. I don't drink beer. But,
but all I'm saying, well, you drink soda, don't you?
No.
Oh, do you drink anything that's in a can?
No, just coffee.
Just coffee. Oh, it comes in, Well, anyway, the point, that's not the point. The point is that everything's going to start costing more because of this trade war.
It may, but that's the price of war.
No. Look. Oh God. No, you don't. I'm sorry. I don't think the average Americans, have to participate in a trade war. A trade war is waged by an individual. It's not waged by me. Okay? And I'm going to have to suffer by it because this guy is blowing smoke out his ass. He thinks he knows how to do things economically when he really was a very bad businessman to begin with.
Well, you know, this trade war seems to be popular now amongst many people. I wonder how many
amongst what people? What people is this trade war?
Well, I was getting to that. I wonder how many
go
people
out and ask the farmers out in the Midwest how they feel about it.
All right, yeah, well, they're going to feel pretty good about it when they when their products start getting bought by other countries. But what I was going to say was there's a backlash against Chinese products in this country. I am finding that many people would prefer to buy American-made products over Chinese products if the price was near parity. And so, I wonder how many of us, if given the choice of looking at two products side by side, and one was made in the U.S., one was made in China, the price was fairly similar, which one would you buy?
The one that
I stopped shopping at Walmart a long time ago, Phil.
Well, I never did. But
I would start shopping for the item that Consumer Reports gives the best rating to.
Yeah, but if let's say they were identical, all right? It's just that one was made in the U.S. and one was made in China. Which one would you?
I would buy the one that was made in China just to piss you off, and also because they pay my wife a very nice income. They pay her a very nice income, and they're very good to her. And so I'd have nothing against buying stuff from the Chinese.
So she's been bought and sold by the
Chinese. That's correct. We're the Manchurian Candidate. Yes, Tom.
Okay, so now I'm going to be a conservative. Okay, so the choice of whether to buy something made in the United States or made something in China should be the choice of the consumer. Should it be the choice of the government by making a certain product more expensive? I say no. It should be the choice of the consumer to whether to buy something made in China, and that the government shouldn't be forcing that choice.
But the Chinese are not playing fair because they're floating their they're not floating their currency.
Mm-hmm.
They're keeping their currency low. They're subsidizing things. They're dumping product into the United States at lower prices to try to kill the market. Basically the same thing Home Depot does when they try to kill a category. And so what they're doing is they're trying to take over the market, and they're not playing on an even playing ground. And they have tariffs on our products over there. You don't see a lot of Chevy trucks over there. You don't see Ford F-150s. I
got to tell you, I was in Beijing and I saw nothing but foreign cars. American being the most predominant. I think General Motors probably had the largest amount of metal on the road there.
When I went to Beijing, there were Jeeps all over the place.
Yeah.
Jeeps.
Yeah, but there are a lot of Mercedes there. There are a lot of stuff from other countries too. But I would say that the predominant vehicle company on the road there was General Motors. So you're wrong, Phil.
No, I think it's Toyota, but was the predominant company over there. Tom wanted to say something, and I'll look it up.
Yeah, you'll look it up. You'll go to some place that agrees with you. Yes, Tom.
If there's any well, I know one thing, that the steel was that the Chinese had overproduced steel, and now they've got a glut that needs to be dealt with. And there are economists that have ideas on how that can be done. But any of those trade disputes should be taken up with the WTO. That can determine whether a country is acting appropriate or not as far as their products and other products are concerned.
Well, we talk about the Chinese stealing from America, but a lot of the companies that have the most to lose by that do business with them constantly. I mean, Apple, as an example, it does business with them, and if anybody could get stolen from for their what can we call it, their tech, it would be Apple, and yet they trust these companies. So what does that say? Phil's so busy looking up information.
There's a 25% tariff on U.S. auto makers in China, and that's from CNN.
Okay.
And yeah, so they have tariffs.
What kind of
that was in 2017.
What kind of tariffs do we have on their products? Did we have on their products?
We didn't. And if we did have tariffs, they were a lot lower than 25%.
Well, you get me that figure. Go looking for that figure. Go
thing
looking
that
for that figure. I just want to keep you
about-
busy so we can all talk among ourselves.
But the other thing that everyone's talking about is that they make our companies expose their information, and then they knock them off, and they form their Chinese companies.
A lot of these Asian companies for years were knocking off our products. I mean, Japan built a whole economy on knocking off our stuff, and then what they did is they started making a really nice living out of doing it better than we did it. I mean, they came out, for instance, with the Betamax, which was a better way of videotape recording, and they were using a helical scan drum. And it created a whole category of home VCRs and so on. Basically, they stole the idea of videotape recording from America, but they took it and adapted it in a whole new way. So this was, hey, I remember Japan. When I used to buy a tape recorder from Japan, it lasted about a week. You know, and then when I opened it up, I looked and I found that the microphone they were using a prophylactic as the what do you call it, the vibrator in a microphone, you know.
That there was a 2.5%.
I can't stand it when you go on the internet and then you sit there and just reading shit that you haven't vetted, that you haven't read, that you didn't know off the top of your head. What?
PolitiFact says that when we brought automobiles from China to the United States, we paid 2.5%.
Okay, tell me the name of a Chinese auto brand.
Well, there is, but I also
Tell me the name of a.
They own MG, Morris Garage.
Well, we don't sell MGs in this country.
No, but
it's in England. I'm asking you, what cars are sold from China that are made in China in this country?
Well,
I can tell you, I just looked it up.
What?
Volvo, a very small number of Volvos.
But they're made there, but they're off the Scandinavian company.
It says for every car, this is on Fact Check, for every car we import from China, we export 6 to China. None of those Chinese-produced cars is branded by a Chinese company. Our auto industry is doing extraordinarily well in China, while Chinese car production limps along.
Phil, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, well, that goes against everything you just said.
Yes, but when we send a car over there, it's 25%.
But you didn't. You're missing the point, Phil.
You are on PolitiFact. Look a little lower. Look a little lower, Phil, in the next paragraph.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I mean, we're doing really well in China with our cars. I mean, that's what it's saying right here, and I'm looking at the graph, unless it's a lie.
Also, Kentucky Fried Chicken's doing very well, too.
Yeah, but they're going to steal the secret recipe.
They're over what, 5,000 KFCs in China now, maybe more?
The thing in China, too, is it's only the people, the party members who have money who can buy cars anyway, and they're going to have the money to buy the cars. Mm-hmm. The average Joe can't get a car.
Yeah.
So, well, no, I disagree. I disagree with that. I disagree with that, Ray. You don't have to be a member of the party to make money. There are many billionaires in China who are not members of the Communist Party.
You don't think they're members of the party? Okay.
No. I mean, like the company my wife works for, members. I know a lot of people that have made millions at that company, which is CITIC, which is one of the top banking organizations in China. And they're not members of the Communist Party.
Okay, you're right. I'm actually operating on old information because from when I went over there.
The only thing that you can do,
sorry, you're right.
I asked a woman was our guide when we were in China, and I said to her, "How do you feel about not being able to vote?" She says, "I don't care. Let them run it the way they want to run it." She says, "I could vote if I wanted to." I said, "How?" "I'd have to join the party." In other words, you have to be a member of the party in order to vote, and all you do is join the party.
I was talking about 20 years ago when you did, and I'm totally wrong.
Yeah,
Things have changed.
no.
Yeah, I see where it says that, for every 3 cars sold in the United States, every 10,000 cars sold in the United States, 3 of them come from China. We export 6 to China for every car. Yeah, I see that. But but it also, in the same article, it said that there are other products that maybe singling out cars was not the best example for Trump to use, and that there are many other products that we do have an unfair toll to pay.
But here, I got a question for you, Phil. Like, for instance, Apple phones, the Mac Minis are made here, by the way, but the Apple phones, the Apple Watches, a whole bunch of Apple products, right? All made in China. But who owns the company they're making them for? And who has the companies here in the United States that are distributing them and are benefiting by this incredible amount of money that's flowing into their coffers?
There was a mass exodus of our technology, our companies, and our manufacturing during the Clinton administration, and probably during George Bush Sr. and Reagan. There was a mass exodus for cheaper labor, and what it did was it devastated our manufacturing base. So we lost our triangle of trade. We used to make it, buy it,
and I got to tell you, I remember American-made products. They sucked.
Well,
So
did the other products in those years. I mean, when you bought a Zenith or an RCA.
I mean, we could make all those Apple iPhones here in this country, and you would not be able to find the labor force that would be willing to do that kind of work, that kind of repetitive assembly line work.
It could be done with robotics then.
Well, then you're doing away with giving jobs to people.
No, because we have people that service the robots. We have people that program the robots.
All I'm saying is that they don't do them by robots in China. They go out and they hire people. There are people whose families don't make a lot of money. They go to work for one of those companies. I can't remember what was the name of one of them. It was very famous. Or whatever
it was.
No, another name. But the ones that do all the Apple work. And people would come from the countryside and go to work and send money back home to their families as a result of it.
Is that the companies where they lock the people in?
This is the ones where they had to put up netting because they were jumping out the windows. Yeah.
They're basically indentured servants.
Yeah, but it was also
we're competing with, and that's what they want our workforce.
But you don't find me a good working amount of Americans who want to do repetitive work like that. You find them for me.
Go to West Virginia. I mean,
why West Virginia? The fact is, you're not going to be able. You know where you're going to find people who are willing to do those jobs? All those Mexicans coming over the border right now.
Well, there's a lot of people that want work, and a lot of people.
Oh, really? I want work. I want work, but I'll be damned if I'm going to be on an assembly line for Apple.
Well, yeah, but that's you. But there are plenty of other people.
Oh, yeah. And you wouldn't do it either, Phil. You wouldn't do it either. So how dare you infer that other people should?
Well, there's no work that isn't genuinely good. I mean, if you work, there's no bad job. You can't look at somebody and say your work's no good unless you're a crook. All work is honest and deserves to be respected.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you really think a lot of the guy cleans the latrines, right?
Yeah. It's a tough job, but he does it and he supports his family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, an hour.
Huh?
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's
he doesn't support his family on $7.25 an hour, Phil. I'm sorry.
Well, he doesn't get a ham operating set, but maybe they're living.
He has to work at 3 jobs at that rate in order to support his family.
That may be true, but when you get the competition for those jobs and you can't hire somebody for $7.25 an hour, you're going to have to pay 10 or 15 because you're going to be competing with a limited workforce. And so, therefore, the price of labor goes up.
In the la la land, yeah, but
in the real world, when
in the real world, the Mexicans come in and take the jobs Americans don't want to do, and the Republicans bitch and moan about it, and yet the companies keep hiring these people.
Well, I'll make a joke. The only job that Americans don't want to do is carpet installation. But as far as that's why I was a carpet installer. But anyway,
all I'm saying is that this is a global economy, and we're fucking up our place in it. And it's going to wind up, they were saying tonight, that it is going to wind up costing the average American about 25% on goods and services within the next couple of years.
Because there are these guys called globalists that wanted to rule the economy that way. Guys like Edward House, who had the ear of President, who's the guy from World War One?
Woodrow Wilson.
Wilson. So he was Wilson's right-hand guy, and he was a globalist, and he wanted a one-world government, and Trump doesn't, and I don't want a one-world government. I want to be a powerhouse. I want this country to excel, and not at the gain of others. I don't want our country to have to lose so that someone else can win.
The trouble with Donald Trump is that he's a business guy who is thinking with old thoughts and old ways of doing things. And we're going to be beaten out by all the countries who embrace modern ways of doing business.
Well, the modern way of doing business is not to flood our market with cheap products.
Okay, well, you have an answer for everything. Anybody else want to say something here? Yes, Jeff.
Well, I have probably a little bit more manufacturing experience than any of you, I think. But anyway, the world has changed, man. It's an automated system. It's a high-tech system that a lot of products that they stopped building it because it would be too expensive to update them here. Mm-hmm. And guess what? There are people in South Korea, who's a great place to build stuff, and they build cars there, and their cars are the safest cars in the world today.
Oh, they make good cars.
Studies on people who have accidents with cars and with the
Also, we don't adapt to new technology that well. Let me explain what I'm trying to say here. You have a guy like, what's his name, Tesla guy, Elon Musk. He has a thing, it's a new form of transportation, and he wants to put a line in between Los Angeles and San Francisco, in which you'd be able to go from Los Angeles to San Francisco in about an hour and a half.
The air tube.
The air tube.
Yeah,
he can't get the ability to build that thing to save his life. So where did he go? He went to France, and they're going to put one in France.
I thought he was putting one in Chicago.
Oh, excuse me. He is putting one in Chicago. You're right. Chicago that I'm thinking of. Yeah. But, I mean, you go up against so many different things. Now, you have a city like Chicago, so fucking poor. They go, we'll deal with this. We'll take this, because Musk is pretty well willing to put up the money for it. And then he wants the profits off of it, of course.
Well, I was talking to an architect that I was working with who is developing Treasure Island for residential use, and also he's designed this 700 foot high. What do they call those? It's like a merry-go-round, but it's
Ferris
wheel with a restaurant in it that's like a big egg.
That would be so ugly.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So I said, how are you going to get the cars on and off the island? He says, well, there aren't going to be any cars. And I said, he says, we're going to put a rail route underneath the bridge. And I said, well, what would happen if you had Elon Musk's idea and put it underneath the bay? and he thought that was a great idea, and he took it to his partners.
It's
So
called
you
BART.
never know. To be able to bring people on and off Treasure Island, from Treasure Island over to the Embarcadero.
But BART already goes under the bay, so we've done it.
But it doesn't go to Treasure Island.
No, I know. Yeah.
And so what they want to do is they want to populate it and do stuff with it.
I don't know why anybody would want to live on Treasure Island.
Well, it's really windy, but it's beautiful.
It's windy, but it's really windy. I know because when I was in the Navy, that's where I went into the Navy. That's where I was, installed or whatever into the.
They have Section 8 housing there right now on one end.
Yeah, and I remember it as being windy and not particularly beautiful.
Well, the views are beautiful, and if they remake it, there's some sculpture there that's very interesting. But what they want to do with this Ferris wheel is have a restaurant in it, and it takes 45 minutes for the wheel to turn, and you go up 700 feet.
That's just what I want when I'm sitting at my home in North Beach, is to look out at Treasure Island and see a fucking Ferris wheel.
I think they have those kinds of things in other countries.
Well, good. Let them have it. They have one in London.
There was a huge amusement park on Treasure Island at one time.
No. Treasure Island started out as a World's Fair.
Right.
In fact, I don't think that is an actual island. I think that is an artificial island, which was Yerba Buena Island. One side of it is real, the other side isn't, and the other side was where they had the World's Fair and
Treasure Island.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember what year it was, and that's what it was built for. And then when it was through, when they were through with that, the military took it over and started using it for military bases. And that's why I was brought into the Navy there. Why that was where I showed up for duty.
Yeah.
And actually,
hey, Phil, I go over to Yerba Buena sometimes, and I know how to get to the old military housing, which is hard to find. And I know because I did a commercial there once, and we shoot over there.
Well, they were shooting some movies.
There's nobody there.
No, they were shooting some TV shows over there. They used a lot of those big armories that were there as studios.
Yeah.
Nash Bridges was shot there.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no people, and it looks like a little town, and it's just a little ghost town over there. Yeah. But it's so noisy, no one can live there because the cars are just nonstop right above your head.
Yeah, this is not going to be a lovely place to sell homes, Phil.
Well, on the Treasure Island side, it's kind of like the Presidio in many ways.
Oh no, the Presidio has hills. The Presidio has trees.
So does
it has vegetation.
Not Yerba Buena does.
Yerba Buena has the hills. Oh, okay. So and you go up and over to get down to the
flat. Base. Yeah, the flat part is Treasure Island. It's totally flat. It's just landfill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Presidio isn't really the Presidio anymore. It's part of it is Lucasfilm. Yes. Did you raise your hand, Tom?
I think.
Yeah, I was going to say that that's becoming one of my favorite bike rides, is to Treasure Island over the new eastern span of the Bay Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've gone a number of times, ridden my bike from my house to Treasure Island, around and back.
I heard just open that bike path.
It's been open for a few years.
They have a bike path going to Treasure Island?
Yeah, but from the East Bay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Since they built the new span.
We're trying to get another path over the western span.
Cool.
They're still planning on. They're still trying to figure that out. But right now, from Oakland, easy ride over.
Wow.
The San Francisco Fire Department has a huge training facility on Treasure Island too.
Yeah. So this is how we go, folks. This is how we do the citizen panel. We go from one thing to another without even breathing heavy.
I'm tired of Trump.
Well, listen, we're all tired of Trump, but the only reason why he's around is because of people like you, Phil.
Well, he's going to be there at least for the next 3 years.
It's getting boring, though. I mean, there must be some other news.
Yeah.
No, it's
getting really boring. You know,
it's only 2.5 years, Phil.
Oh.
So,
what other news is there?
But
well, no,
you said
no, you
don't
know
like
what it
me.
is, though? Here's what the problem is. He dominates the news cycle. He wakes up in the morning and says, what can I tweet or what can I say that people are going to be talking about today? We never talked this much about Obama. He just kind of went to work, did his job, and occasionally he'd do something that, you know, was newsworthy, and it was reported. But this guy every day feels compelled to say something idiotic enough that people are going to talk about it.
But you don't have to listen to it if you don't
No,
want
but
to.
the problem is,
He's the president.
the problem is I'm doing a program here in which we talk about things, and I got to tell you, this idiotic shit is fun to talk about. However, what I've said with the press before, I think the press should take you don't like us, then we don't like you, we're not going to report you. We're only going to report you when you do something that is important to the United States of America, and not because you said some stupid remark about somebody.
Patrick said the press got him elected, and now there he is. So, you know, just enjoy it, go for the ride, and let him do what he's going to do. Next time, if you don't like it, get out and vote.
I didn't elect him.
Yeah, well,
I didn't elect him. He's not my El Presidente. Yeah.
Oh, here's something for you.
What?
Kim Kardashian said a few hours ago that she might eventually run for president.
Oh, God.
I know.
I swear, I'm reading it right now.
I don't want to talk about that.
Can they make the seat that wide?
Yeah.
She wants to be a lawyer too.
Huh? She wants to be a lawyer too?
So
What'd you say, Kevin?
She wants to be a lawyer too.
Oh, is that what she wants to do?
Yeah, she wants to be like Daddy.
She says she doesn't want to run for office now, though, because she doesn't want to have to give up her brands. You know, I think what Trump has opened up is this Pandora's box of celebrities who are going to run for office.
I thought her husband wanted to run. Canine West or
Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Canine West.
That was a good one, Phil.
Yeah,
I was serious.
He was serious. He thought it was canine. By the way, here's a little piece of trivia which you're going to be in awe of, I think. Who was the host of the Tony Awards, not this year, last year? 1 year ago.
Must have
Neil
been
Patrick Harris, wasn't it?
Nope.
No, that was 2 years ago.
Well, that was 2 years.
I read this today, 1 year ago.
I forgot.
I don't think I watched it.
Kevin Spacey.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Amazing how much happens in a year, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't even allow him in the room now.
And here's another guy that didn't get due process. Here's another guy that was convicted by the court of popular opinion.
Look, I agree with you. I think that nobody should lose their job or anything until somebody goes to court and proves you did something.
Yeah.
You know, and not that maybe they didn't do something, and not that a lot of people aren't going to skate because you have to do that, but the fact is that a lot of people are going to be having their lives ruined because of false insinuations. Like this one last night about what's his name,
Canine?
Jamie Foxx.
Oh.
That this woman is charging him with having slapped her in the face with his penis in 2002. And there's this is in Las Vegas where there's a 3-year limit on that kind of thing. Now, I agree with her. It may have been a dangerous thing because he could have knocked out a tooth, you know, but...
if I was in doubt enough to do that, I'd pay the money so that I didn't have to say I didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you know, so I mean, this guy, what's his name? The guy that does all those shows with Talking Dead and so on. What's his?
Andy Cohen?
No, not that guy.
The host.
Yeah, the host. You know what who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's not Andy Cohen?
No, it's not Andy Cohen. Talking Dead.
What's that?
Talking
The
Dead.
guy who hosts the Talking
show,
Dead. What's his name?
The show that comes on after The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Walking Dead.
That's not Andy Cohen. No.
Let me look it up.
I can't tell you what Andy Cohen does for a living. Never could quite figure it out.
That's a dating
Chris
show.
Hardwick.
Chris Hardwick. He has been accused by his girlfriend of 3 years, who finally left him,
You're right.
The most egregious kind of things, like he wouldn't let her, when they were in public, he wouldn't let her talk. You know, whenever she went somewhere, he had to know where she was. You know, things like that. I mean, like she was living in this prison with Chris Hardwick. Now that may be true, but you kept doing this for 3 years.
Do you know who his spouse was? It's Linda Hurst, and she's 5'9". You know, she's big enough to tell him to, you know, leave me alone.
That's not the woman that I read.
No, it says spouse, Linda Hurst.
No, it wasn't his spouse. It was a girlfriend for 3 years. And now AMC is thinking of dropping him because of just the accusations. Here we go again. You know, I mean, I'd like a little more. I'd like the court of law to be the arbitrator in this rather than the court of public opinion. But apparently, because of social media, that's not. I'm dreaming. Okay, Vernon.
I agree that due process is important in this country. So, Phil, I assume that you don't think it's a good idea for things to be like the accusations against these people in the public opinion, that's a bad thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then why is Giuliani out there trying to stir up all this public opinion that Mueller's a crook, that it's all tainted, and this is all for one reason, and that's to stir up the American public. So even if the Democrats win in 2018 and impeachment is brought, he will not be convicted because of the court of public opinion will not allow him to get convicted.
True.
Well, that's the extreme example of what you just said you don't like.
I don't like it, but you know that happens to be the reality of the way things are. Chloe Dykstra is the girlfriend.
Yeah, Chloe Dykstra is the girlfriend.
And she's a cosplayer?
Yeah.
Isn't that the
people go around dressed up like Bill Cosby? Yeah. That's a pretty good one, actually, if I think about it. Yes, Patrick.
Yeah, Vernon, like Phil said, that it's all over the place. And, you know, Giuliani, most of the people, I mean, on my side would like to see him shut up too, because he's more drivel at the mouth than even Trump is. But I mean, you look at Facebook, you look at any of that, it doesn't matter whether it's somebody like him or if it's your neighbor. People are just stirring shit up. And
do like I did, Patrick. Drop Facebook. I dropped Facebook about 3 years ago, and my life has been much better since then.
I don't
Rob.
I don't engage in much political discourse with people anyway. You know, I'll put out something, and then I enjoy reading what people write because they eat themselves alive, and it's just hilarious.
Same thing with Twitter. I have a Twitter account that I don't look at anymore just because of all the crap that's on there.
Do you follow Trump?
No.
On Twitter?
I unfollow Trump. There's an
I don't follow anybody on Twitter. I just, every once in a while, I'll get on there and I'll look at the streaming stuff, and it says, I could do better things with my time.
I actually follow Tom Yamaguchi on Twitter.
Well, Tom Yamaguchi is worth following on Twitter because you get to know everybody that ever dies.
No, but he posts a lot of stuff interesting.
No, but he's come. You have a mission, right, Tom? Somebody important dies, it will wind up in Tom Yamaguchi's tweet.
Well, yeah, somebody who's had a really interesting life, and I'll look it over. I say, that's worth sharing. So yeah, I do. That's one of the things I like doing with my Twitter.
Yeah.
I like to read Tom's posts.
In fact, if you don't subscribe to Tom's tweets, do so because they, it's pretty well a news piece that you will enjoy, and oh hey, I didn't realize that person was 97 years old. I thought they were dead years ago.
Anyway, yeah. So if you want to follow me, it's at Tom Yamaguchi, all one word, and
yeah.
Be great. Thanks.
Who died in the last 24 hours? Anybody we should know about?
Well, I know we had a really sad one. Another football player, Dwight Clark. Unfortunately died of ALS a week ago.
Yeah.
And we just had another one. Let me go to it because I forgot his name.
Keith Farnhorst.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was really sad one
Who's that?
He was a tackle for the 49ers.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was played with Dwight Clark, and Keith Farnhorst. He was injured from playing football. He ended up in a wheelchair. He had a pump inserted in his back to deliver medication, and so he died at 66.
Yeah, he had a kidney disease.
Yeah, kidney disease.
And how old was Clark?
Clark was 61.
Yeah,
Clark
he was early
61.
60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diagnosed in September of 2017 with ALS.
Yeah, not very
Died
long ago.
Last week.
Here's one that interest you, Alex. DJ Fontana.
Yes, DJ Fontana was DJ Fontana was actually worked on TV shows, right?
No, he was.
Oh no! Hold on. Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley's drummer. He died at 87.
Yeah. No, there was another Fontana, and I think it was almost DJ, who worked on.
You're talking about the. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. The writer for Star Trek.
Yes. Yeah.
No, that was DC.
DC Fontana. Yeah. Well, DJ Fontana, was with Presley. Yeah. How old was he?
He was 87.
Yeah. Those Southern boys live old.
Young.
Mini-Me died too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a while back.
Yeah.
Vernon Troyer or something.
Vern Troyer. Right. Good for you, Phil.
Remember that song? Those are people that died. Those are people that died.
They were my friends. They died.
Yeah.
Actor Alex Beckett died.
Here we go. Wait a minute.
He was only 35.
They were all my friends, and they just died. There you go. That's it.
Okay, I'm not going to play any more of that because I'll get a thing saying I can't play
That's
it.
why I sung it. I wouldn't play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guy who sang it is dead. So. Yeah.
Hey, Alex, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you keep up with your protege, Christina?
No.
I remember you got her a job as a producer when all she was doing was answering the phones.
I haven't
for
heard.
you
I haven't heard a word from her in
the producer's job.
Since I left there. I have not heard one word from her.
Yeah.
Except when I called her and said something nasty about her in a tweet that for all I did for her, she could at least call once in a while and say hello, and she got all upset by that.
Am I your only ex-producer that calls?
No, Albert Reynoso.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Probably the best producer I ever had, and she wasn't a producer. She was a phone screener. Yes, Tom.
I did
that.
Well,
Death, because I think you'll really like this one. This was from a week or so ago. Eunice Gayson.
Yeah, she was a running supposed to be a running gag in the James Bond films. She played Sylvia Trench, and Sylvia Trench is the woman that Bond first meets up with in Dr. No. And just as he's about to have some kind of a relationship with her, he's called away to do whatever he's got to do. So they then put her in From Russia with Love, and at the beginning they're out by the water. And they're about ready to make love, and all of a sudden he's called away again. And the idea for her was for her to do that part in every film as a running gag. But after the second film, they decided not to. But interestingly enough, she was supposed to be Miss Moneypenny, and then they gave it to Lois Maxwell. Am I right?
Well, she's described in the obit as the first James Bond girl.
Well,
and
she is in that respect, yes.
Yeah, so she died at 90. The one thing that was interesting was that someone else did her voice in the movies.
Yes, and I think it was Lois Maxwell who did her voice. But I can't remember exactly. But she was Sylvia Trench, and it was, as I say, supposed to be a running gag. But if you look at the first two films, the beginning of the film, the woman he first beds down or is with or tries to be with is this actress, and then she's in the second film, and then all of a sudden she disappears.
Yeah. Nikki Van der Zyl is the woman that did the voice.
Oh, really? Okay.
Nikki Van der Zyl.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I only know so much, Tom.
I didn't know any of that. So you know more than I was never a big James Bond fan, so. But
I used to have a game I used to play with Dana Gould, the comedian, and Dana and I would play this game, and you had to name. It was at that time there were only about 10, 12 films. You had to name who sang every theme song in every Bond film, and we had that pretty well memorized. And we would sit there at night doing Bond trivia with each other, trying to stump each other. Actors who played this part or that part, and so on. So, Bond trivia is a lot of fun. I know that Patrick would find it boring because it isn't Star Wars trivia, but,
I have yet to see a Bond film.
Really?
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
And the only Star Wars film I ever saw was the bootleg one that Alex recorded for me on VHS tape.
Well, in those days, I had a copy of Star Wars when you weren't supposed to have a copy of Star Wars.
I know.
I had it on 3/4-inch cassette.
Yeah, you put it on VHS for me.
Did I really?
Yeah.
God, was I a thief or what? That was really some bad shit I was doing then. That was it.
Well, what are you going to do?
Was that in New? It had to be in New York.
No, it was in Sausalito.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, by then I think I actually had a copy of it from the. Well, no, I guess when did they first release Star Wars out onto VHS? Probably about the time I was in San Francisco.
It was still it was just in the theater.
No. Star Wars was in the theaters while I was in New York City.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
I didn't see it in the theaters.
Yeah. Star Wars opened up, and I remember doing a bit on Midnight Blue where we went down for the second film, The Empire Strikes Back, or whatever that was. The second one was, Empire Strikes Back. And
it was the Empire Strikes Back
that
you had VHS.
Yeah. Anyway, we went down to the theater the day before it opened, and they had all this, all the stuff on the marquee and everything. Empire Strikes Back. They were getting ready to show it the next day, but they were showing some other half-assed film in the theater. But they already had all the signage out there, so we just sat there with a camera. And we said, well, this is the first, we ran this the next day. This is the first day of the opening of The Empire Strikes Back. Boy, where is everybody? Could it be that bad? And then you see one person walk out of the theater. And we went, gee, it must really suck.
Maybe it was Hardware Wars. Hardware Wars?
Yeah, that was silly. Yeah. Shit. But anyway, no, I remember Star Wars opening up in New York, and this was a picture nobody thought would be a big success, and it was just.
It must have been Empire Strikes Back that you put on VHS for me.
I have no idea what kind of thievery I was doing.
An hour in line to go see Star Wars when it first came out.
Yeah.
And E.T. also.
There were people that camped out overnight. Waiting to get into the theater.
I didn't see it until it was at the $2 theater.
Really? Well,
Palo Alto, I think it was like I was the only one in the damn theater.
Is that the one you got to wear an overcoat to?
Those were the days. Those were the days. And in about a minute, we're going to have to start playing the theme. But those were the days when you would go to a movie theater, and it was hard to get in with a big film like that for the one reason that when the film was over, they didn't flush people out of the theater. You could just sit there and wait for it to show again.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to watch
now they shush you out of the theater, get the fuck out of here. But in those days, because in those days you would go to a movie and come in the middle of a movie. Right. And then the most pervasive statement that people made to other people they were at the movie with was this where we came in?
Yeah.
But so that carried over into the Star Wars era, which wasn't as sophisticated, and you would have to wait for people to leave before you could go in. And sometimes people weren't leaving. They wanted to see that thing 2 or 3 times. I know people who said, I was there all day watching the thing over and over.
Yeah, I think I watched some Pink Floyd Animals like that.
I used to, on Sundays, start at like 10 in the morning, and I wouldn't get out of there until like 10 at night. I'd go from theater to theater.
That's what I did when I was a kid, too.
Yeah.
I would watch like every scary movie I could find and then go home and not
move to another theater.
I would look, you got 16 screens. I'd say, oh, okay, this one starts in 15 minutes, but you know what? I can see the last couple of minutes of this one before I go into that one.
Yeah. So anyway.
And then there was double features all the time, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I used to get double features. One time I saw a double feature, and it was 2 big, giant, epic films. Each one was 3.5 hours long. And I came out. I was bleary-eyed when I came out of that one. You know, it was like Dr. Zhivago and Ben-Hur or something like that. You know. But anyway, hey, listen, everybody. This was really nice tonight. Good little gathering. I had a little trouble getting started tonight with the video, but outside of that, everything worked out just fine. I want to thank you all for having joined us, and why don't you just wave to everybody to say goodbye? And hopefully we'll see you right back here again next week. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, there they go. That's the Citizens Panel. That's who they be. And I want to remind them, if you can, go over and call Jack. He's up next with the intersection, and he could sure use your call. All right? He would love you for it. He will come out to your house personally and thank you for having been on his show. Anyway, I'm Alex Bennett. I got to go. Jack's next with the intersection. That's followed by Connections at 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern Daylight Time. On Tuesday, it's Damien and the Exchange, Damien Chaplin and the Exchange, and then I'll be right back here again at 10 o'clock. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye.